In a healthcare setting, what's the real difference between a totally routine procedure and a life-threatening mistake? Well, sometimes it just comes down to a single conversation. So we're going to explore why active listening isn't just some soft skill. It's a critical tool that can and does literally save lives.
Let me ask you this. What if the most dangerous thing in a hospital isn't a faulty scalpel or a malfunctioning machine, but something way more common, a culture of silence, where people are just afraid to speak up? And that leads us to a pretty stark reality, which is really the heart of what we're talking about today. When team members feel like they can't speak up, or when they aren't heard, patients are put at risk. It's truly that simple, and that's serious.
Okay, so first, let's really unpack the real-world consequences of this danger of silence.
Think about it. It creates this awful feedback loop, right? A team member raises a concern and they get criticized for it, or just completely dismissed. So what do you think happens the next time they see something? They're probably going to keep it to themselves. And that creates a dangerous cycle of silence that puts patient safety directly in the line of fire.
But, and this is the good news, there is a really powerful antidote to this culture of silence. It's all about flipping the script and recognizing what we can call the listening advantage.
So when we say active listening in this context, what are we really talking about? It's not just about, passively hearing words. No, it's a proactive safety strategy. It's a deliberate, conscious effort to build an environment where every single viewpoint is sought out and truly heard. And the whole goal? It's to avoid mistakes by making every single decision based on one thing and one thing only: what is best for the patient. Here's a great way to think about it. A culture of active listening gives clinicians, and this is a great quote, an enormous advantage because the team have got your back. It's like a safety net, right? Woven from trust and open communication, making sure everyone feels supported and actually empowered to speak their mind.
Now, all of this sounds great in theory, but how do you actually build this kind of culture? Let's get practical and look at the first steps for how we can all start talking.
The journey actually starts with some surprisingly simple steps. First up, personal introductions. I know, it sounds super basic, but people are just way more likely to speak up when they actually know who they're talking to. Second, regular team briefings. These really set the stage and make open communication feel normal. And third, using specific communication tools. These give people what our source calls permission to speak up, making it a standard, expected part of the process.
But look, just opening the lines of communication, that's only the first step. The next big challenge is making sure everyone is on the same track. And that brings us to this crucial idea of staying on the same page by creating a shared mental model.
The difference a shared mental model makes is just night and day. Without one, the team is kind of operating in a fog of doubt and confusion, and people hesitate to speak up. But with a shared plan, you get clarity, you get confidence, and suddenly it becomes so much easier for anyone on the team to spot when something isn't right and to actually say something about it.
So how do you keep this shared understanding alive and well? You have to reinforce it constantly. You use tools like the surgical safety checklist. You stop and recap the plan every single time something changes. And you just maintain clear, open communication from start to finish. It's absolutely an ongoing process, not a one-and-done kind of thing.
But, none of this, the open communication, the shared plan, it doesn't just happen on its own. It absolutely requires leadership. And that brings us to the critical role leaders have in making it truly safe to speak.
For any team leader, this is one of your most crucial responsibilities. You have to acknowledge all input, every single time, even if the suggestion isn't that helpful in the moment. Why? Because you are reinforcing the idea that it is safe to speak up. By simply thanking someone for their contribution, you're making sure that next time, when they have something absolutely vital to say, they'll feel comfortable saying it. And leaders can't just sit back and wait for it to happen. You have to actively create these opportunities. By explicitly asking for ideas, by saying, hey, what do you think? You're sending this crystal clear signal that every single perspective is not just welcome, it's valued. You're opening the door for that conversation.
Ultimately, all of this boils down to a fundamental shift in mindset. It's about reframing the entire purpose of speaking up. It's no longer a challenge to authority. It's not an ego contest. Instead, the guiding principle becomes this. It's not about who's right, it's about what's best for the patient. When a team really truly gets that, communication is transformed into a tool for everyone's success. So as we bring all these ideas together, we can start to see the bigger picture. This isn't just about best practices or efficiency, it's really an ethical imperative.
And this is the core takeaway.
speaking up when you see a potential problem, and actively, genuinely listening to the concerns of your colleagues, this isn't just a nice skill to have. It's a fundamental ethical duty for every single person in healthcare. For the safety and comfort of our patients, it's simply non-negotiable.
So we'll leave you with a question to think about. What is one tangible, concrete change your team can make tomorrow to start listening just a little bit better? Because that one small change, well, it could make all the difference in the world.